Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is your boy Anchor MMA, and I'm back today to cover UFC 328. Very big card, especially for me. A lot of my absolute favorite fighters are fighting on this card, so my mental health is really dependent on how this card goes. I'm going to start off by going over and talking a little bit about UFC Perth. Obviously, I missed out on that a little bit video-wise, but I was up at 3 in the morning watching the fights. Tai Tuivasa versus Louis Sutherland. Tai Tuivasa is just a blob. There's nothing else to say. He shouldn't be in the UFC. Not even close. Didn't try to get up from takedowns. Just was content with Louis Sutherland laying on him. And Louis Sutherland kind of outstruck him too. Shamil Gaziev versus Brando Peretic. Great fight. And I'm going to bring this fight up later. You'll see why. But great fight. Shamil lasted longer than he should have. Brando Peretic looked like he had a lot of good power. Rocked him really bad multiple times. Good performance by Brando Peretic. Marwan Freaky just... round one finish. That's what I expected. Freaky Rahiki's a very good fighter. And Ollie Schmid is not the greatest. I won't lie. So... that was a good fight for Freaky Rahiki. He should definitely get a better opponent next time, but I like it. Tim Elliott versus Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg had a really good performance, but yeah, he really made himself a case to be a contender for the title. I think he needs one more fight. Give him maybe a Brandon Royval, and depending on how he does with that, maybe consider him for a title shot, but I enjoyed that fight a lot. Quillen Salkid versus Beneil Dariush. This is exactly what I expected, except Quillen did even better than I expected, because Dariush knew he was cooked on the feet, started trying to get together takedowns. Quillen stuffed them all. Did he stuff them all? No, he didn't stuff them all, but the ones that landed, he got up relatively quickly. So that gives me a lot of hope for Quillen Salkid for the future of the division. Very excited there. In the main event, I am shocked. I would have picked Jack Della Maddalena by like a 50-45, maybe 49-46, but Prates won all 3 rounds, destroyed him with knees, destroyed him with elbows. It was one of the most brutal performances we've seen in a really long time. And he just put himself in line for the title. I don't know why he went to the media and said Ian Gary's next, because I could have seen Dana in the UFC skipping Ian Gary and just going straight to Prates, because Prates is more exciting, has a bigger name than Ian Gary, I would say. But yeah, the UFC Perth is a banger card. I really enjoyed it. But now, let's get to UFC 328. I'm going to skip these first 3 early prelim fights. Roman Kopylov versus Marco Tulio. I think Roman Kopylov, this is a step down in competition. So I'm going to go with Roman Kopylov by unanimous decision, maybe 29-28, but I could see this going either way. Kopylov is, I don't know how to explain, I don't know, he's a weird fighter. He's a fringe of the ranking fighter, and yeah, he could easily lose this and he could easily win this. Kopylov's not one of those guys that you should probably bet on. But moving on to the prelims, starting with Jim Miller versus Jared Gordon. Jim Miller's 42, and Jared Gordon's 37, so this is an unk-off, don't get me wrong. But Jim Miller's had quite a layoff for Jim Miller. So I think I'm going to go with Jared Gordon to win a 30-27 decision here. This isn't the most exciting fight of all time or anything, but yeah, Jared Gordon's just going to out-unk the unk himself. I'd be shocked if Jim Miller pulled this off, but yeah, I definitely think Jared Gordon will take this one. Up next, Grant Dawson versus my Toots Rebeski. I think Grant Dawson's going to win this one. More proven than Rebetzky. Has way longer reach and height. I just think he's got everything going for him. Rebecki's still unproven. Grant Dawson's fought way higher levels. So I think with that knowledge, I think Grant Dawson will take this by decision again, unfortunately. Now we start to get into the banger fights. Yoel Alvarez versus Yaroslav Amosov. This is a 50-50 fight. I'm not going to be mad if you take Yoel Alvarez. I'm not going to be mad if you take Yaroslav. I'm going to go with Yoel Alvarez. I think he's the better fighter. He has more losses, and I don't know. This could really go either way. I'm really fencing this, but I think my final prediction is going to be Yoel Alvarez by a decision. I think he's going to piece him up a little more on the feet. I think he'll take a nice 29-28, maybe unanimous, maybe split decision. I think it'll be a fun fight. I'm very excited for that. The featured fight of the prelims, Atiba Gautier versus Ozzy Diaz. Don't ask me why they rebooked this fight, because Atiba Gautier is going to go out there and finish him within the first 3 minutes of the fight. Atiba Gautier is scary, one of my favorite up-and-comers. Ozzy Diaz is a jobber, as they say. I just don't see any world where Ozzy Diaz doesn't get finished in the first round. Atiba Gautier is way too scary, way too good, and I think this is a step down in competition. And I don't know why they rebooked this, because this should be an easy win and kind of a tune-up fight, you could say, because Atiba Gautier's last fight was definitely disappointing compared to what we expected. But yes, Atiba Gautier is going to starch him early in that first round. All right, the main card, we're starting off with Bobby Green versus Jeremy Stephens. Unk matchup. I'm excited for this. Bobby Green just had a masterclass performance against Daniel Zellhuber his last time out. I've never seen someone more in the middle. He'll beat the shit out of a not so good up-and-comer, but then he'll get absolutely flatlined by somebody decent. He's hard to say, but I think the fact that this is not an up-and-comer, this is a fellow unk that has had a lot of time off. He has a lot of losses. The hardest hitting 145-pounder is going to lose by TKO to Bobby King Green in the third round. I think that's my prediction. I could see it going to a decision, but I think they're both going to throw. This could easily be fight of the night. I'm really excited for it, and I think Bobby King Green will take this one. Oh, man. The day has finally come. The day has finally come. Joaquin Numanza Buckley makes his return after his long layoff from that Kamaru Usman fight against another one of my favorites, Sean Brady. You know, this is really exciting for both of these guys to show how good they can bounce back and improve on what they did wrong. Because Sean Brady just got starched and destroyed by a hard-hitting welterweight. And he's going against a hard-hitting welterweight in Joaquin Buckley that can get a finish. And Buckley just got held down for 25 minutes against, no, 20 minutes against Kamaru Usman. That fifth round, he turned it up. People forget. People forget. A judge scored that fight a 48-47. Not as much of a blowout as you think. Buckley rocked Usman a couple times. And I think it's easier to fix getting laid on for 25 minutes than getting chinned instantly. Especially if Sean Brady walks out there with double knee pads, he's done. I picked Sean Brady, and when he walked out of there with double knee pads, it was over. It was over that second. Joaquin Buckley has the power, but I don't think he'll get him out of there in the first round. I think Sean Brady will win the first round, and I think second round, Joaquin Buckley, nasty TKO. He's bigger, stronger, and faster than Sean Brady. If Sean Brady doesn't lay on him for all 3 rounds, he's going to lose this fight. Sean Brady hardly shot. I don't think he shot a legit takedown on Morales. And I think if he doesn't do that to Morales, I don't think he'll be able to hold down Buckley for the entire 15-minute fight. So Joaquin Buckley is going to win by round 2 technical knockout. I am very confident in that. Knowing these two guys, they're some of my favorite fighters. Buckley just has it more. And I think Buckley will win. And Buckley versus JDM is going to feed families. Up next. Man, oh man. There's so many of my fan favorites on this card. I am so excited. My fan favorite, one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, my favorite heavyweight, Waldo Cortez Acosta, the Salsa Boy, versus Alexander Volkov. Great matchmaking by the UFC. This is the fight to make. After seeing the Brando Peretich versus Shamil Gaziev fight, it just makes you think, how much power does Waldo Cortez Acosta really have? The way he put Derek Lewis out without hardly touching him, and then Gaziev was just getting bruised and battered, as bad as I've seen, and his chin held up, and it didn't hold up against Acosta. He got finished in round 1 by Waldo. So I think Volkov will do well. He might win the first round. He might win the second round. But I think he will end up getting chinned. He has been chinned late on by Derek Lewis. I think it'll be similar. Maybe not round 3 in the last minute. Maybe early round 3, late round 2. But I think Volkov will have a lot of success. And I could see him taking this. I'm not super duper confident about this pick. I think Waldo will chin Alexander Volkov. And he will be next in line after Aspinall versus Pereira, which is going to be the likely outcome unless Sirigan flukes it. But knowing Waldo, he's extremely active. I think he'll want to get back against Sergey Pavlovich. So I think if he wins this, they run that back. Whoever wins that fight clearly fights for the title next against either Pereira or Aspinall. So the heavyweight division's looking up, honestly. Or maybe the winner of that fight fights Josh Hokett. if he has a really good performance against Derek Lewis, which I think he will. So, yeah, the heavyweight division's looking up. I'm actually looking forward to it. We were in dark ages for a little while there, but Pereira is low-key saving the division. But on to the co-main event for the flyweight title. Another fan favorite of the channel, Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. This is a win-win for the UFC, I would say. But they don't know it yet. I think Joshua Van is better for the UFC if he wins because he'll be more active. And he might not be as liked now because he kind of took a heel turn. But he is more fun. He has a better personality. He's a better fighter. And he's going to beat Tatsuro Taira. He's going to chin him in the 4th round by TKO. Tatsuro Taira, people forget he's a little chinny. He's never been chinned in the UFC, but he is chinny. They're both young. They're both the future of this division. So I can't wait for that. Taira has the height. He has the reach. But he doesn't have the boxing like Van. Van is so nasty, and his takedown defense is good. Don't get me wrong, Taira's going to get him down a couple times, no doubt. But Van's volume will be too much for Taira by the late stage of the fight. And I'm confident in Joshua Van to get this dub. And I can't believe so many people are picking Tatsuro Taira and counting out Joshua Van. It's disgusting to me what they have done to Joshua Van. They've turned him into an nemesis, but he is the future. He's so entertaining. He's got a good personality. He's 24 years old as the champion. And just because a black belt landed on his arm and broke it, that he caused, by the way. I mean, I'm not going to say he deserves the title because of that, but if he didn't push him, he doesn't break his arm. Like, that's simple knowledge, but Joshua Van is getting a 4th round TKO. I would bet a lot of money on Buckley and Van to win as underdogs. I'm actually pretty confident in that. But the main event, Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. Oh, I'm really fence-sitting this fight hard, but I don't want to get my hopes up. I got my hopes up for the DDP fight. I'm a little disappointed with it because I got my hopes up for the JDM versus Islam fight. They were both smudged. Sean Strickland is probably going to get smudged. He's got he defends. He's a good grappler. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think anybody in the UFC, I don't think heavyweights could stop Khamzat Chimaev's takedowns, let alone middleweights. I mean, I just hate Khamzat, but he's going to get the smudge decision, 49-46. I want to say I can see Strickland jabbing and teeping and him getting a crafty 49-46, maybe 48-47. And I could see that, but I just think the Khamzat lay and pray is bound to happen. But I think the referees might really be trying to stand them up because of the backlash that the Khamzat DDP fight, because of the backlash on that fight. But I truly do think that Khamzat Chimaev will, unfortunately, he will lay and pray, and he will take Sean Strickland to a 49-46 decision. But this is a banger card. This is the most excited I've been for a UFC event this year, no doubt. It's the most excited I've been for a while, probably since 322. But just to give you guys some people I would bet on, I would stay away from Atiba Gautier by knockout because he didn't do it his last time out, and the line is like minus 400 or something to win by knockout. So I don't think that's a good line to take. If I'm just going off of fighters, I'm going to go Joshua Van as an underdog is a really good one to take. Less confident in it, but I think Waldo as an underdog could also work out very well. Joaquin Buckley as a underdog is kind of ridiculous to me. I think he'll win. And honestly, I think you could put in Joaquin Buckley by TKO or KO, and I think you'd be just fine with that. King Green's a good one to bet on, but the prelims are kind of hard to decipher. But yeah, that's what I got for the fighters. I think some lines I would take, just looking off of Prize Picks, I think Joaquin Buckley over 33.5 significant strikes will hit. As long as he doesn't get laid on the whole time, I think that'll absolutely hit, and I'm pretty confident in that. Joshua Van to have over 75.5 significant strikes. He's had that in like 4 out of his last 5 fights. Obviously not including the last one he had. But I think this will be a good scrap. Joshua Van has so much volume to where I think that'll absolutely hit. It was like 200 or 300 that he landed against Roy Val. So I think 75.5 is definitely doable. And I would do either Tatsuro Taira and Joshua Van over 3.5 or 2.5. 2.5 is a green devil, so you would get less money. 3.5 is normal. If you put $20 on that, you get 85. So that's I would probably play it safe and bet on the 2.5. Nah, I'm gonna bet 3.5. So Buckley over 33.5 significant strikes, Van over 75.5 significant strikes, and Tatsuro Taira versus Joshua Van to go over 3.5 rounds. I think that parlay will absolutely hit, and I think another good 3-leg parlay would be underdog Buckley, Joshua Van underdog, and Waldo Cortez Acosta underdog. But if you replace Waldo Cortez Acosta with Khamzat Chimaev, I would not be mad about that at all as well. But I appreciate you guys tuning in for the video. My entire life, my well-being is determined on how this card goes. So, I can deal with Buckley getting laid and prayed as long as Van finishes Taira or Waldo smokes the shit out of Volkov. If Buckley wins, if Buckley wins, Waldo wins, and Joshua Van win, my goodness, that might be the greatest day in my life. If they all lose, oh my, don't come to school tomorrow. There might be tears shed, and I might be sobbing through the recap video. I'm not going to lie to you. But I appreciate you guys tuning into the video. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree with my picks or my bets. Just let me know down below. I appreciate you guys checking out the video as usual. Have a great day.